Hello everyone and welcome to the Captain's video weblog. We are Thursday, December the 17th, I think, yeah, 2015, and well, I mean, it's probably, I will say that tomorrow, because really today we are only 1 week away and 2 weeks away from Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, not Christmas and the New Year. So it's, well, I mean, I talked about it anyway, so here goes. Anyway, I had quite the revelation a couple of days ago, and I mean, it's good that I'm finally talking about it, because if I wait another day to talk about that, I might actually forget about it. And you know, sometimes it's just like incoherent thoughts in my head that suddenly, oh man, that makes sense. So yeah, I was, for no reason really, thinking, oh yeah, I know what I was thinking about that. There was, well, I was at the mall, I think it was yesterday to be quite honest, and I was at the shopping mall, and I remember that day, I think it was a month ago, and I talked about it on a video, when 2 or 3 girls went up to me when I just was done and doing my shopping, and asked me to take a photo in front of the shopping mall, and I was like, well, it's pretty weird. I was like, they asked me that in Spanish, which is a language I understand, and I cannot really, you know, on the spots I cannot really say, hey, no, I don't understand what you're saying, because, you know, when you're in front of the wall, you're like, well, I mean, I'm not good at lying. So yeah, to be fair, I'm honestly quite good at lying when it doesn't come to saying about foreign languages or something like that. But yeah, I'm always like, well, next time I'm gonna do like, well, I don't really speak French, I don't really speak English, I don't really speak Spanish. I was like, what language could I speak that probably nobody would speak? And the first thought was Japanese, and there was this thread on 4chan about animals that do things like anime characters. So there's the elephant that goes through the door, and there's Tadaima, and there's I think it's some kind of bug holds one of its legs behind its head, and it's literally, in my head, it's always, without a doubt, it's always going to be Miyuki Sawashiro's voice saying, "Ya, gomen gomen." You know, sorry, because I mean, people have heard Eri Kitamura and whatnot, but to me it's Miyuki Sawashiro, because in my head I associate that with Suruga in Monogatari. So yeah, and there's this picture of, I think, a rodent, a baby rodent with its mouth open, and the file name is Watashi wa Ningenda. And I associate that with Akira for some reason, and so Tokyo and the Tokyo Sky Tree, which is where the realization came about. The Sky Tree in Japanese is called Sky Tsuri, with a 2 for some reason, and I always found that weird, given the fact that the silent the syllable they usually use to when there's a T followed by nothing or a consonant is toe, not tsu, because tsu doesn't make sense. And I was like, why do they use tsu instead of toe? And sky tori, and because it's a long e, so they would have to do a long e, not with putting another e, but putting a stroke to signify that, well, it's a long sound. And yeah, so it would do a sky tori, and except the problem with that is a tori is the gates you see in the temples. Like in Kyoto, there's this temple with like 100 tori on a row, and I'm like, is blasphemy that big of a thing? But that such a reprehensible thing in Japan? And I'm like, probably. I mean, obviously, with the end of World War II and the domination of the USA, they kind of wanted to do away with the state Shinto, which was pretty much the state religion, Shintoism, but with a dash of nationalism. Because hey, that's top. I mean, here in France we have Catholicism, but the chief of state, the head of state, was also the head of the French church that was based in Lyon, and they said that the doctrines, the way it's taught, the religion, was taught in a very French way, so they call that, he's, there's a title that links to the Gauls, or more exactly, Gallia. Well, Galliae. So yeah, the head of the French church, he has something linked with even before the Romans, so very pagan, which is kind of weird, I guess. So yeah, there was that. There's that in France. And blasphemy is, because of the whole link with the state that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, lèse majesté, am I right? So yeah, one would think that when they built the Sky Tree, they were like, well, we cannot call a tower like, is the Tokyo Sky Tree the tower that looks like the Eiffel Tower, or is it another one? I can't remember, honestly. Yeah, I would think that because it doesn't look like a temple gate, just imagine, oh yeah, we're gonna call that the Sky Tori, and it's gonna look like a fucking needle. What? That doesn't make sense, but wouldn't make sense anymore, wouldn't make any more sense if it looked like a fucking arch, a huge arch, built out of wood, big, huge, red thing in the middle of Tokyo skyline. Man, that would look like something really plausible in Japan, because Japan, am I right? I'm saying that because when I'm going on and I saw the stalker threads, which are not about stalking people, it's about stalking the sales of anime. So Blu-rays, DVDs, sets that are really fucking expensive, and you're like, when you first get into anime and you're just watching the shows, you're like, well, I mean, that should be pretty popular because, well, we like it, so why don't they like it? The thing is, Japan has been for the longest time, when it comes to anime, very, very... it's disgustingly the culture of kawaii. And I mean, even a show that's been running for like 50 years, I think, which is Sazae-san, which is one of the few daily anime, because daily anime, whoa boy, um, you gotta work with the budget and with the time constraints. I mean, it's either produced days or weeks in advance, and they're like, well, maybe we can have a day off. No, 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 fuck you. You have like 10 episodes to produce in the day, and I mean, it's like 2 or 3 minutes long, so. But when you see the chores that come with weekly anime, you're like, daily anime? And there's there's a lot of well, the vast majority of anime is on programming blogs that are very late in the night, and so probably no one watches it at the time. Probably DVR it or fuck, hey, don't even watch it, because most of the night, when I was in a discussion about the last episode of Kekkai Sensen, which had been postponed until the end of the autumn season, of the summer season, because they couldn't find a programming block. You're looking at the programming blocks on TBS, on BS11, and maybe on TV Tokyo, and there's like, well, there's this huge thing of between maybe midnight and 4 a.m., which is the time where anime airs. And you're like, well, what do they air at that time? And because of the time zone difference, you can watch it. And you're like, this is that's full of infomercials. Why do they not put anime instead of that? You're like, well, I mean, also that doesn't make a lot of money. Some studios don't even break even with the broadcast. They only break even through merchandising and whatnot. So yeah, the thing we think, the stuff we think is popular because we like it. You know, we're the West. I'm not going to do the difference between Northern America, Southern America, Europe, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, the UK, the Nordic countries, or whatever, maybe even Africa, Middle East. The culture in Japan is very like, well, I mean, you think it's cool, but we think it's maybe too edgy. It's not suitable for the whole family. When it comes to the West, some places it might be rated R or R+, but here, if it's here in France, we have -10, -12, -16, and -18. -18, it's pornography. There's nothing besides pornography. -16 is heavy violence, like some episodes of Supernatural are -16. Besides that, it's erotica. Unless you show the dick, and then it's pornography. That's pretty much how it works. You can show everything but the dick. God, Descartes would be furious. That's a joke, boy. Find that I have a lot of energy, which is kind of weird because I mean I haven't slept a lot during the night. I have slept the whole afternoon because so I've taken another of these ampoules, and I think I should probably try taking one of these ampoules when I have slept more than 2 or 3 hours, because I feel that, well, I'm tired, then I take my breakfast, and I'm kinda awake, but I still wish that I could go back under the covers and just sleep the whole thing through the whole thing. But no, I have classes to attend, and man, that wasn't really interesting. And you know, it acts for like 2 or 3, well, more than 3 hours, and suddenly you feel when it's not working anymore. I have huge issues with keeping focus. You know, I can't stay focused for too long. That's a big problem, I guess. And when that happens, I'm like, well, shit. But I was still not very tired, and then we had a break, and one hour after going back to class, I was like, well, I'm starting to feel a little bit dizzy, and I really feel like it's putting the exhaustion pretty much on standby. You know, it's like, well, I see you're tired, I'm gonna give you a little boost, but when it's when the boost is over, bam, you're going back to sleep, man. And yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I resisted for like 20 minutes after I was done eating my my meal at noon, and then I was like, well, oh shit, well, man, and I fell asleep, and Linkin Park's hit song "Crawling" that I use as a as an alarm clock, as an alarm, because you know it's, I mean, crawling in my skin, and it's like very loud, and I'm like, well, that should do the trick. But I mean, in the past I've used the song that's at the beginning of the first episode of Black and Monogatari. You know, dun, 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 and and I mean, because it starts off like a normal clock, I have all the alarms on my phone are pretty much, oh look, it's the nature, it's all so calm. It's suddenly, oh boy, what's going on? Oh, you must be awake by now. Holy shit. And yeah, that's pretty much the same pattern, except that with crawling in my skin, it starts off with like the silence in Doctor Who, and then boom, the guitar. Oh, whoa, boy, that's saturated guitars, and it's like, man, what's going on? Am I right? So yeah, and it went off during for like 2 hours, and was like, shit, I had a class at 2 p.m. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. I gotta craft a lie that's kinda plausible. Hopefully the class I had in the afternoon took place in so many different places, I could just say, well, I went to this place an hour ago and there was nobody. I must have missed something on the schedule. Oh, it's that place. Huh, I see. Well, I'm not coming. Sorry, I knew we had to meet already yesterday, and today, I mean, tomorrow we have a little exam, so I'm obviously going to be here, and we'll have computers to see the website, so yeah, and worked like a charm, I guess. I mean, at this point I'm only good for one thing. It's typing stuff on the computer without doing too many mistakes. That's my job, essentially. I'm glad that I have a job. Besides, hey, I've given you the idea, but you've totally changed the whole thing. Holy shit, man. And yeah, basically. So yeah, that was kind of strange, but that's kind of the thing, I guess. What else? I mean, we're drawing really close, near. I'm still not sure what word I should use after drawing. To the holidays. I mean, usually, I mean, not usually, but last year I was in the same apartment, and the last Thursday I decided to do a lot of irresponsible things, because I had a report to write on statistics for the Japanese population. But I also had to clean up my apartment. I wanted to take a bath, which is an experience I'm not going to reiterate this year, because first, it's already 11 p.m. and I have a class tomorrow, unlike the last Thursday of last year. So yeah, also the bathtub is really, really small for somebody as fat as me, I guess. There's no other word. I should get a haircut because boy is it getting long in the neck. Soon enough I will look like a bad porno actor from the 80s. Yeah. So yeah, I mean I'm not gonna do the full cleanup tonight because if I want to sleep early, because I don't really have a choice. Tomorrow we have an exam, as I said. It's at 8 a.m. So yeah, I gotta sleep. I mean, everything is going to be on the computer, and they will allow us to have all the text we have written through the term. But yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be there still, and early, because early is not something I've been able to be recently, which is not cool, I guess. So yeah, I'm just gonna, wipe the floor with my Swiffer broom. I mean, I even bought special the special things with bee wax. So yeah, it should be good enough for today, and tomorrow I will do the whole cleanup because it's the holidays. It will have like 2 whole weeks to be dry, and I really hope that it will be dry because boy, it's cold, and when it's cold you can't really tell, you can really count on just the fact that it's gonna evaporate. Am I right? So yeah, what else? I really have nothing else to talk about tonight. We're also drawing close to the end of the anime season. I mean, today is the last episode of Subete ga F ni Naru on Crunchyroll, which I thought was going to crumble under the weight of its own pretentiousness, because it's really pretentious. But at the same time, you can really feel that, well, it was written in the middle of the 90s with pretty much the knowledge of informatics that a commoner would have had. I mean, it was, when it was written, I was like 1 or 2 years old, so I can't say much for myself. I had my first computer at Christmas a few months after my 5th birthday, so yeah. I'm also a pleb, but yeah, lots of things can be analyzed under that prism, the whole thing of, yeah, it's the middle of the 90s. Obviously, computers are, if you talk about computers, you talk about letters, you talk about numbers. It's going to be the fucking hexadecimal system, and F is 15. It cannot be 4, 5, 14, whatever. It's going to be 15 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, F, 10. 11, 12, 13, yeah, and 12 is, 10 is 16, basically. I think the biggest number at that time was like FFFF, which is 65,535, because it starts with 0. So if you have 65,536 bits of information available, and it's not noted. I don't remember the exact term, but if it's noted, if it's that thing, it also goes in the negatives, because obviously when you start, you are going to the positives only, and you're starting with 0, not 1. So it removes, bam, the last bit is replaced by the first bit. But if you have, like, I think it's noted. I don't know why in my head it's noted, but I guess it is. You're going from minus 32,800 and 62 minus and yeah, but you have only 1-0. That's kind of concerning because I'm not good with all that kind of shit. I mean, it's not all those bytes. It's like 64 bytes, 64 bits, and you can put that many values into 64 bits, 32 or 64, or is it 128? No, because it's about an operating system, so I guess it's 64. Or is it only 16? I think it's 16 actually. There's something about it that I don't remember. No, it's like one bit is 0 and 1 because it's binary, but it's an octet. Fuck. Well, I mean, if I'm talking about hexadecimal, it has to be 16 bits because that makes sense. Because it's the middle of the 90s. Yeah. 32-bit OS operating systems are like, wow, it's so modern. I work with Windows 7 on 64 bits, and I'm like, whoa, boy, that's the future. But it's really not. It's even a little bit dated. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, where I will talk about every kind of stuff that happened last year on the 18th of December. Because, man, that was, woo! I mean, even the 19th was probably more. No, it wasn't the 8th. Yeah, the 19th was, oh wow, that was one fucking day. So yeah, goodbye. I did it again. Fucking hell. I am so pissed right now. You can't even understand. You can fathom how pissed. Yeah, it's easy. It's goodbye, and I'm doing goodbye. What am I doing with my life? Jesus Christ, I am... Also, Marseille is apparently a cup team, which is pretty cool, because we might win 3 titles this year with that team, if we're really a cup team, because there's the League Cup, there's the National Cup, and then there's the UEFA Cup, well, the Europa League, but... I mean... For starters, we have to get rid of fucking Paris, and that's gonna be a handful. Am I right?